Greene County was carved out of Washington County in February of 1783. The city of Greensboro came into existence in 1803 and was incorporated about 1830. The first inhabitants of Greene County, because the first part of originally Greene County was primeval forest. This was upland Georgia. Your cultural areas were like around the coast of Savannah and Charleston and those areas. We were very early frontier country. No roads, no anything much. When Greene County was created, it was named Greensboro for General Nathaniel Greene, who was a Revolutionary War hero, who died 2 months after Greensboro was named for him. Greensboro in those days was inhabited by the native citizens of Georgia, who were Indians. The tribes that were near the Oconee River was mostly the Creek Indians, who were very hostile and very unfriendly and had really resented the white men coming into their territory. They were most displeased by the Shoulderbone Treaty, which ceded a great many acres of their land to the government, which they didn't think was done fairly. They said that there were only 2 chiefs at the council out of 100 chiefs in the different tribes that were around, and they thought the decision was very unfair. Of course, coming into the frontier land was a great influx of Virginians and North Carolinians to take advantage of the rich, fertile lands and new lives. So a lot of the land was given out as head right grants to Revolutionary soldiers for their participation in services in the Revolutionary War. I am sitting there in the center of Greensboro City of the Dead, and there are over 15 or 20 Revolutionary soldiers buried in this cemetery. Because of the hostile Indians, the Indians burned Greensboro 3 times. Where the Methodist Church sits today was a fort to protect the citizens of Greensboro from Indian attack. I understand it had a big fence around it of pointed pine trees to keep them off and keep them at bay. Regardless of that, the Indians still attacked Greensboro on 3 different occasions, burning the courthouse, they burned every house. As a matter of fact, on one Indian attack, we have record that they killed 33 citizens and burned every house in Greensboro. In our historical records, we have a letter that was written by a guy to his sister in Greensboro. He was a Dr. Reed. And I love one line in that letter because I think it really portrays how serious it was and what those folks were living through. It says, "Murder, murder, murder. Our streets run red with blood." And if you go in the Greensboro post office, there's a mural painted by a government artist, Mr. Davenport, through the WPA program that depicts the burning of Greensboro and the Indian attacks. Because of the Indian situation, Colonel Jonas Fouché was sent by the government to Greensboro to be the director, I guess you would say, of Indian affairs, to try to make peace, to try to take care of this part of the county and get rid of the Indians eventually. And they fought with them and traded with them and did all they could do. And finally, they chased them back across the Oconee River and peace was settled, but this was after 1830.